Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. So excited when you get to see good people, talk to good people. And yeah, he's pretty big. He's a big coach, but he's just a great guy. That makes him even, makes the story better because he's bringing freedom to potential. Coachingforrelevance.com is the website. And our friend Randy is back in full effect. How are you, darling?
Sounds good. Good to see you. And I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and a start to an amazing new year for you.
Amazing. Holidays were great. New Year's. Then it's my son's birthday on the 5th. Mine was on the 10th. It's like
happy birthday. Cool.
Thank you. But now it's like depressing season. Let's be honest. The holiday decorations come down. Everything's quieter. It's like cold in New York, So, but we'll get through. It was a great holiday, and I'm ready to build that, lift that energy, build it up for the spring again. So,
cool. How
was your holidays?
Cool. It was cool. It was fairly uneventful, and my great grandkids did a good and had fun and everything. But my great grandson and his wife actually ended up both sick a little bit, so we didn't get a chance to get together and stuff. But we talked, and I know the great grandkids had a good time and stuff, and so. Yeah, glad to hear they're much better and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it was sort of uneventful, but it was good. It was good.
Still can't believe you have great grandchildren, let alone grandchildren. So anyway, Randy, I'm so proud of you, and I'm sure they are too, right? Of all your success. I mean, but you're like, I'm just dad, I'm just grandpa, but yeah. what you've done.
But I tell you what, I would never set them aside for anything. I love them to death, and I think they kind of experience that. So that's good.
Beautiful. Well, welcome back. How is your life been otherwise? How's the coaching world? How's the book writing job? How's the movie going? I mean, we have a lot of history here to catch up on.
Well, I'll just kind of share this very quickly that the coaching, I bring a lot of the coaching and the neuroscience to leadership in developing pilots and flight crews over at DFW Airport, jet pilots and stuff. And so that's almost a daily thing, kind of thing where I bring all of that. But I also, the autobiography, as you know, was posted on Amazon last June. And so just kind of looking at that and looking at some aspects of getting it marketed and things like that. But the movie is actually, it's sort of amazing that it sounds like it's right at the point where we're probably going to be signing the contract and getting it out there where people can see it and everything. And I'm amazed at what some of the people that are actually working on it have told me about, what they learned from me. In fact, one gentleman said that he's learned so much from me.
Wow.
And one of the things that he's really learned is how he has not been focused on, in his journey, focused on leadership and those aspects of success and all that kind of stuff. But he also said, but he learned a valuable lesson, because what the lesson that he learned is that it's never too late. And you know what? You can still make that work, and you can still grow and become that, and things of that nature. And that's paraphrasing a little bit about what he said, but just his amazing comments about what he sent me just kind of blew my mind on the movie and everything. But it's looking forward to getting it out there. Everybody that's kind of heard the story has had some amazing comments about it. So.
Oh, well, I cannot wait to by the way, it's your life story. If you're listening and unaware, we're talking about, this is your life story, right? That we're talking about, that was being filmed and being put together.
What it is, it's basically it's not like every little nook and cranny of my life story, because that would have to be a movie that's 70 years long and everything. But it does, it hits the key points. It hits some of the things I had to kind of learn and overcome and become and everything. But it also highlights a lot of the amazing aspects of my story that I'm even kind of amazed at in it. So, but it's really good. And I will say this, that everybody that has seen kind of it in its making, the comments they have made have been just amazing to me. So it's The one guy that was kind of communicating to me with some of those concepts that I just mentioned. He said that he thinks it will, but he said he hopes that when the message gets out there, he said it's going to make amazing differences in a lot of people. And
No.
so it's just a lot of that story. It's a lot of that sort of presentation and all of that, and kind of amazing. So I'm humbled that it's uh, sounds like it's right on the threshold of getting out there and everything. So kind of amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. What did you want to discuss for today? You're always enlightening. There's always new, you know, something to be learned on the table. What did you want to focus on for
Yeah.
today?
What I'm going to focus on today is a key aspect of leadership in teens, and particularly one that's realistic in an unpredictable, changing environment sometimes, kind of thing. And it's actually interesting because when I went over to the local high school, which I do about once a month, and talked to a class and everything, one of the things that we did is we showed a 15-minute video of Ted Urban's a TED Talk speech where he talked about kind of when people, are doing stuff, but they end up having to be procrastinators, and you got that kind of thing. And what I was going to do is bring a certain insight in that because he mentioned a couple of things that are very aligned with organizational maneuverability, but also my neuroscience awareness and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was going to bring it to leading teams in a situation, and some of the things that I kind of shared with the students even after that little video was done. So I thought I'd bring some of that.
Absolutely. I want to see some of the video too. Do you have it for us to share?
I don't actually have a copy of it, but the person's name, like I said, was Ted Urban,
Okay.
and if you go to Ted Urban's TED Talk, and it's probably that one video, and it's about 15 minutes, and but it's he brought some very aligned aspects of it, and I don't know if he's really certified or knowledgeable of neuroscience, but some of what he was bringing was very neuroscience related in terms of leading your teams. And it's an aspect that so many people, really a lot of people in our societies and stuff, uh, don't yet fully understand. And it's there's some people that kind of misunderstand what leadership really is. So it really kind of shows that sometimes people don't think about.
Amazing. Well, you are a leader as an entrepreneur, as you know, the new year's here. And what is going to change this year for you? What do you feel? What is your insight? What's happening for 2000? I was going to say 24, 2025.
Well, for me, it's just going to be getting the movie out there and expanding the autobiography and stuff, and that kind of thing, getting the message out there. And I had a friend ask me when I was going to retire, and I say when I take my last breath, because you know what, I'm going to run through the tape. I'm not stopping. And so going through there, it's not calling attention to myself, but it's getting some of the insights out that can make a difference in somebody, and having planting the seeds which make people actually become more amazing than they ever imagined um, down the road. And so that's my whole focus for this year is getting the movie out there, getting the autobiography out there, so people more than just people that I talk to every week can gain insights and see the benefit of it.
Aw. Well, I'm always willing and eager to learn, and I'll be there for the screening. By the way, when it's time, when it's time for this, there better be a big premiere. It's going to be awesome. The whole station. We have to come out there and film it.
There you go. Yeah, I tell you what, it's I'm amazed, and I tell you what, the director who was actually here 2 years ago that was doing the recording and all that, um, basically told me that the message is just amazing about how it comes across and my story and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just when I look back on the last 50 years of my life, even though not everything was just the way I thought it would be, or just everything wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
perfectly the way I maybe wanted it to at the moment. I look back on it now, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have traded anything
Yeah.
because of just kind of what has become, and hopefully, long after I'm dead and gone, people don't remember my story, but they remember some insights that made a difference for their life, and that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, you're always inspiring. And, in this new year, I feel like there's a lot of good to be had. A lot of people out there who, maybe aspire to have more, and you're coaching leaders, Um, you know, what about people out there, let me just say, that aren't leaders yet, that are just trying to make it? You know what I'm saying? There's always the
Yep.
hope for someone out there, but knowing you, you'll probably still help anyone that needs your help. But those out there starting, because I know you're really
Yep.
good with the executive coaching and the CEOs. But what about, do you ever work with, I hate to say regular people, but, people that are looking for, they want to be, the people that you're working with. They want to be that. Where would you suggest someone who's
Yep.
starting out and wants to become this amazing entrepreneur, to work on their skills, to go?
Well, they could, as you know, and stuff, and if they wanted to kind of get my services or something, they could do that. But I will say this, that some of the people, in fact, on the movie documentary that's being published, they had a couple of the people that I have worked with, not as so much as a coach, but as a colleague kind of thing, where I brought coaching skills to it, um, made some amazing comments about it, and a lot of it are aspects that are just kind of amazing and everything. But there's if there's somebody out there that just wants to have a go to somewhere and just have a tea and talk, we can do that, kind of thing. I'm not going to give them 6 weeks of free of
Yeah,
free
yeah.
service or anything. But if somebody just wants to build a friendship, but also maybe learn a couple little tiny insights, that's fine, kind of thing. And but but what I want to do is just make it so that the things that have um, been applicable and part of my world can also make a difference in other people's lives, not just me doing it, and
Yeah,
not me just making them like me, because every one of us is a little different,
absolutely.
and that's what a lot of people don't understand totally. And so, and that actually goes to a little bit of this thing with the what I was talking about here with this procrastination and everything, because it's a key aspect that people don't understand. And I'll share this if I can go ahead and share this just very quickly here.
Sure.
I can let you know. But one of the things that Ted mentioned in here, and it's very aligned with a lot of what I have talked about with neuroscience and how the brain actually works and all. He said that in your brain there's two uh, uh, he kind of made it like two animals that are good, and one is the brain that puts together the strategic thinking and the strategic plan and all of this sort of stuff. And then the other one he talked about, and it's true, they're both up there kind of thing in us when you look at the chemicals that work. But the other one is very true, because the other one is a one where it just wants to feel good, and that's it, kind of thing. And one of the things that I mentioned to the students today is this aspect of procrastination. What a lot of people do is if the strategic aspect of it is challenging and they're not feeling well, guess what? Sometimes it takes over and they just set it aside and they just go over here and feel good. And and one of the things that is kind of interesting, and I brought this up to the students, is I said, when you look at true success down the road, guess what? In part, and this comes from pilot arrangements as well, particularly when you're flying in the military and you may have to go to combat kind of thing. One of the things that you have to do is you have to be able to be calm in your mind
Yeah.
even in the midst of the challenge. And what a lot of people do when you talk about this aspect of procrastination, what a lot of people do is if it's challenging or they feel like there's some resistance out there that they don't want, What they have a tendency to do is to just set it aside, and they come up with excuses that, oh, well, that's not going to let me do that. How do you know? You
Yeah.
don't know. Guess what? In going forward in any strategy, there might be times where in your brain you have to amend or adapt that strategy just a little bit. And
Wow.
guess what? You have to be okay with that.
Ah.
And if all you do is put it aside because it seems like there's resistance to where you were going, guess what? You're not getting the job done. And true
Yeah.
leaders don't do that. And when you talk about leading your teams in a challenging situation, a lot of people think that my job is to just tell them what to do. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
My job is to facilitate and coach within them this aspect of their being calm even in the challenging situation. And so that's a subtle aspect of that so many people don't really understand. But that is true leadership when it's not just about you pointing fingers and dictating and playing control freak games or threatening or anything like that. True leadership is about when you're building your team members so much, because guess what? It's an art form because each person on your team is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some of them may have some insight, see some insights that the others didn't see or whatever kind of thing. And how are you going to make it so that while they're working together and adapting that strategy as they go forward, they can be comfortable with that, even in a challenging moment or a challenging time? And that is something that a lot of people don't understand. And what a lot of people do when that challenging situation, that unpredictable environment or situation comes on the scene, what they have a tendency to do is to just throw it aside, say, well, you know what, I can't do that. It's not letting me do that and stuff. And they make excuses. That's not what leaders do, and that's not what successful teams do. What they do is they catch the vision that can tweak it a little bit as necessary and keep going and to really be comfortable in it and all of that. And when you do that, you're not procrastinating. You're not
Mhm.
setting it aside. You're actually catching the vision based on the situation, based on the facts involved, the factors involved, and all of that. And that's just a key part that so many people in today's world don't fully understand. But you know what? That is a key, deep aspect of true leadership.
Yeah.
When you're making it so that even when it's a challenging situation that a lot of people would have said, well, it's not going to let us go there. No, your team steps forward and they make the little adjustments. Sometimes the adjustment may only be that much, you know, but going forward, and all of a sudden they reach radical results that they didn't even expect because they didn't necessarily just put things aside. They had the confidence and the calmness and the vision and the strategic thoughts to get there and to how to get there, even with a changing situation and everything. And so this is just something that it's not just rote academic and it's not just superficial. But you know what? If you get down to the real truth of that leadership and that real leading team synergy, and not just that doesn't mean you're just telling them that they're all going to do it just right. Because in fact, I'm sharing this on one of my next blogs. That the bottom line is, guess what? Everybody on your team is a little different.
Yeah.
Different people on your team may have a different view of the factors involved as the possible goal and all that. But you know what? If they develop synergy where they're talking, that doesn't mean they're just all going to do it exactly the same. But what it does mean is they come together and they all start to see the real benefit and the real success in it. And they all start working together going there. Amazing things can happen. But you know what? If you get frustrated and you just procrastinate something, you're not getting the job done. And so
Yeah.
it was just, and I've shared this on a show before that when I was in my last semester in college, and and I mentioned that I kind of graduated and earned my second lieutenant
Mhm.
um, bars in the Air Force on my 25th birthday, which had to be because I had 3.5 years. Because you remember, I had 2 years in in an associate degree, and then worked in a medical field for about 2 years, and then went back to college to fly. And I had to graduate on my 25th birthday. And you know what? I was commissioned on my 25th birthday. Why? Because I didn't procrastinate it. I didn't get
Mm.
scared of it. It was tough. It was tough. But you know what? For 3.5 years, I pursued it. And so it's just a lot of aspects that when you talk about, and he was saying this truly
Mm-hmm.
in the brain, you know what? If your brain mentally is sitting there just wanting to be comfortable and that's it, guess what? You're probably going to be putting it aside. And you know what? If you get a couple of people on your team that's willing
Yeah.
to do that, you're not getting the team or the company or the organization there. But you know what? If you can build the confidence and the real trust and the oneness and the synergy and the vision in your team to a point where they don't just procrastinate something, but yeah, they adapt when they need to, but you know what? They still take it there and get there. Amazing things can happen. And so it's just one aspect about that. And like I said, with what he shared on his TED talk was good. And I kind of actually expanded on it from a neuroscience aspect to the high school students that I talked to today. And because it's a key aspect that people don't often see. And one of the questions I would leave for people is simply this aspect of when you go forward and situations come on scene, to what extent are you clear that something in here is wanting to procrastinate something? And
Yeah.
if you feel that and think that up here, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And and uh, and so it's just that this aspect is one thing they included in the talk today, and I shared a little bit of it from a neuroscience and coaching aspect with the students after the video and stuff, and so it's just something that is very key to have an insight, and it's something that can put a lot of people aside in today's world because they don't, they may not have clarity on something. And a lot of people, if you think about it, if all you're trying to do in a challenging situation, if all you're trying to do is threaten other people so that they just capitulate to you, that could be one aspect of procrastinating because you know what? You're not just focusing on the journey, the goals, the steps of getting there, of how that may need to tweak or whatever. And if you think about it, if all you're doing is coming out and threatening your people, you're shutting their brain down. You're shutting their trust down. You're shutting their mindset down.
Yeah.
And when you have them do that, they're procrastinating where you're trying to go. And that's not what you want in your team. And so it's just some things to think about on that at a deeper level. When you think about it, it's not just a superficial level, but it's a deeper level and it's a deeper truth of honest to goodness leadership. And so it's just something that people have to be aware of, and so often they're not. And but you know what? As a leader, how are you going to keep communicating and connecting with your team members so they don't just procrastinate or they don't just shut their brains off? They don't just kind of shut up and go do what you say, okay, kind of thing. You don't want that. You want their brains engaged. You want their development engaged and everything.
Yeah.
And if you do that in a much better way, then guess what? People don't just fall back to that aspect of, well, just kind of go over here and have a Coke, kind of thing, sit down, you know, and all that. But they have a sense of being able to process, to envision, and to have clarity on maybe what's a good way to get past this little point right here. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not procrastinating. They're taking you where you want. And so that's just a key aspect of leadership that sometimes people don't think about, but it's just one aspect.
Beautiful. Well, we only have 2 more minutes left in the show, so we got to kind of wind down,
Okay.
as we always do, Randy. Which I love talking to you, and you always put things in such like different perspective, and just makes you think, makes you really, I don't know, want more, want to be a better person, want to do better, be a better leader, but be just a better person. It comes down to, right?
And it can be that, you bet.
Yeah. So, and the takeaway, that's what I take away every time I speak to you. But I learned something new all the time from this man.
Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate that, my friend. I'm always an honor to just work with you here and to connect with you on the show. So,
as always, it's always awesome. And where are you headed next? Any plans for the week that we should be aware of? Anything big happening? Any engagements?
well, well, nothing like that because tomorrow, it's been about 7 years, and my doctor wanted to get the colonoscopy.
I knew it. I said it before you.
Did you? Yeah, just
good.
Just to on checkup and everything. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. So on Saturday I'm going back over to the airport to train somebody. But apart from that, I'm just kind of working on the contract for the movie and things of that nature to get that signed and taken care of and all that. So it gets out there and gets it going.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Always a pleasure hearing from you and seeing you, speaking with you, catching up with you. Best of luck on the simple procedure. And my aunt just had one done yesterday. That's why it was fresh on my mind. And we'll talk again soon, Randy.
Oh, okay.
Till next time. How do we contact you?
Good.
Again,
Listen,
don't forget the website.
Happy New Year, and we'll see you again.
Oh, no.
Okay, sounds good. I appreciate it, my friend.
Absolutely. Always. And the website, one more time. I was like, I just said something. The website is?
Oh, okay. It's up here, and it's coachingforrelevance.com.
Got it. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye, Randy. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.